Alright guys, it's officially 2016, and this year seems to be the year of the comic book movie, as we've got 8 comic book movies coming out with, we got Captain America Civil War, Batman v Superman, Deadpool, XMen Apocalypse, Gambit if it hits its release date in October, Doctor Strange, and lastly, if you're going to count it, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is technically a comic book movie, so I guess we'll throw it in there. But I thought I'd count down my top 5 most anticipated comic book movies of this year, and let's start at number 5. And my number 5 is actually Deadpool. Originally, this probably wouldn't even been in there because I didn't know a lot about the character. I was interested. It looked kind of funny, but I was a little worried they would just go over the top with the humor. But then everything since they started advertising this movie, the trailers, have been both funny. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is the perfect Deadpool. But then you've also got the fact that it looks like a good action movie, and this movie is such a low budget movie that they get really creative with everything, and I think that's going to be the big payoff here because they didn't have the big giant budget, so they didn't go over the top. They kept it small, so it's going to be some grounded action. It's going to be funny. It's going to be our first real hard R comic book movie in this age of comic movies, so I'm really looking forward to that one. Alright, and let's move on to number 4 here, where we're probably going to have a little bit of controversy already because this list was so hard to make because we've got so many great ones coming out. But my number 4 is actually Captain America Civil War. And this was so hard for me because Captain America with the Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel movie so far. I actually like it better than the original Avengers. I like it better than any movie Marvel has put out. I just love that movie. There's a certain groundedness to it. There's that political thriller element. The action is incredible. And so the Russo brothers who directed The Winter Soldier are also directing Civil War. So already I can't wait for this movie. But it's just there's so many other ones that just beat it out. So that's why it's at my number 4. But I cannot wait to see the rivalry that happens between Tony and Steve Rogers. It looks like it's going to be so personal. Like there's going to be some real emotional depth to this. And I have to say Black Panther, who will be showing up in this movie, is already looking like maybe my favorite character. And we've seen about a second and a half of any actual real footage. Throw in that Spider-Man showing up. We haven't seen a glimpse of him yet, and yet this movie still got me that thrilled. So I can't wait to see this movie in May. It's just some of the top 3 movies just squeak by it. So Captain America Civil War is my number 4. And number 3 is X-Men Apocalypse. The X-Men movies I've loved, from the original X-Men to the second one, X2 X-Men United. There was a rough patch in there for a couple years after that, but then Matthew Vaughn brought it back as we got into the origin story of the X-Men, more or less. And when they brought in the new cast of James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Nicholas Hoult, I think it's got to be one of the most impressive casts that any of these comic book movie universes have put together for Marvel and what DC is doing right now. And there's just so much emotional depth to it. The relationship between Professor X and Magneto, because of the performances of McAvoy and Fassbender, it's just something I just love to watch. And this one, I mean, the trailer was okay, but it didn't show a lot, but it just gave you quick little glimpses. And I love when movies like these are able to kind of incorporate real world things and maybe make you think. And it's kind of that thing of where Apocalypse shows up, and was that whole thing of, you may know me by many names, of like Yahweh. So it's kind of going up to these biblical things, and then that line of kind of the thing, he's always been followed by 4 horsemen, whatever, and they're like, so he kind of takes that from the Bible, and then they ask, or did the Bible take it from him? And I love when these comic movies can put a twist on history like that and kind of make you think. And then throw in that Oscar Isaac, who's one of the best up-and-coming actors right now, is going to be Apocalypse. I know some people had the problems with the look, but I do like the fact that it's all practical makeup. It's not going to be this giant CGI thing necessarily. And Oscar Isaac's such a good actor that regardless of the look, I think the character itself is going to be a fantastic one. And the fact that this is going to be wrapping up this new trilogy, I know there's going to be a lot more X-Men movies to come. And then they're bringing back Jean Grey and Cyclops, played by Ty Sheridan, who's a fantastic actor, in my opinion. His movies like Mud, which is one of my favorites of the past couple years. So I really, really cannot wait to see X-Men Apocalypse. And number 2, for anybody that knows me, probably knows where these top 2 are going. And number 2 goes to Suicide Squad for me. One, it's an original movie that we haven't seen, a Dirty Dozen type of movie that focuses strictly on the villains. And then you hear everything about it, how these characters unpredictable, and the way they're forced into doing these things because Amanda Waller has put a chip in their head. So if they disobey, they're killed. Therefore, they're called the Suicide Squad. Throw in Will Smith's Deadshot. I know a lot of people aren't real excited for him, but if you've seen Concussion now, and he's really taken some time off to get back to it, being a true actor. So I think he's going to bring something to Deadshot that people maybe aren't expecting. Margot Robbie has got to be one of the best young actresses working today. She is the perfect fit for Harley Quinn. And the way they're taking this dark tone with this, David Ayer is such a great director from movies like End of Watch and Fury. He really brings grit and a darkness to his movies, and he gets performances out of actors that are just incredible. So this movie is going to be a real psychological thing. I think it's going to really mess with your mind, which is perfect because you're throwing in the Joker in there. And I absolutely love the character. Jared Leto, his last performance, he won an Oscar for. I think that's about all you need to say. We've seen a couple glimpses, some pictures of him. I know some people had problems with the look of it initially. I actually really liked it because it was a unique spin. And I think this Joker is going to be something incredible to watch. And maybe Leto's got another Oscar performance in him. The last time somebody played the Joker and Heath Ledger won the guy an Oscar. So this character brings a lot of potential for an incredible performance. And it's another building block of the DC movie universe. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they develop this and how it'll play into future movies and what maybe this movie even sets up. So Suicide Squad comes in at number 2. And my number 1 most anticipated comic book movie of the year, and maybe just most anticipated movie, leave out the comic book part of it, is Batman v Superman. Batman has always been my favorite character. I love the character. Everything I've seen so far from Ben Affleck tells me this Batman may be, and personally I think will be, the best Batman we have ever seen on screen. And then throw in just the epicness of this movie, and it's going to really build towards the Justice League, which I know that third trailer we got, the final one where Doomsday was revealed, a lot of people had some problems with it, and I understand where they're coming from. Maybe it wasn't the greatest idea to show them all teaming up, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman. We know it was going to happen, but maybe you don't show it. I do understand that. But it didn't bother me that much because I've got a lot of confidence that they are not going to dwindle away from the Batman v Superman part. And these recent TV spots they've given us, they've really started to focus in on that. And I love how they're making, we all assumed and knew Batman would be the underdog, but how Superman's pushing him to be the underdog. It's not just that Batman doesn't have the physical strength of him, but Superman talks down to him slightly when they're as heroes. Kind of that last thing of, consider this mercy. And Batman ain't going to be happy about that, so he's coming after him, and I think this thing's going to be brutal. Zack Snyder knows how to direct action. The Man of Steel fight scenes are very well choreographed. They're just so short because, once one guy lands a punch, someone's through a wall. So I can't wait to see how Batman fights in this, how the two characters fight in this. The epicness of this, I want to see how it's almost going to be a revenge thing. And Batman feels like he's the underdog, and it's got to take this guy down at all costs. The new Alfred, I can't wait to see. And then just these other character appearances. Aquaman with Jason Momoa looks so incredible in his costume, and I can't wait to see how they incorporate him into this movie. Ezra Miller, for you guys who maybe don't know a lot about him, who's playing the Flash, is an extremely talented guy who's got real quick quips, and he's a funnier actor than I think maybe he gets credit for. So I think that'll bring a real cool dynamic to the Justice League with him as the Flash. I'm curious to see how Wonder Woman comes out. I mean, that's the big question. So many people are looking forward to her. Then you got Cyborg, which is one of the more curious ones to me, is how do we incorporate him into this? Will we see him in his armor at all, or will he simply be the man first? And then just building out the rest of the characters. This movie I've been looking forward for 2 years. I looked up news on it every day. I follow it all the time. I wish March was here. I get to see it a week early because I went to that special trailer viewing. And I mean, the anticipation is just been killing me. The fact that we're about 2.5 months away gets me so excited. I can't wait to see Batman v Superman. I can't wait to see a new incarnation of Batman. So there's my top 5 guys. You got Deadpool, Captain America Civil War, XMen Apocalypse, Suicide Squad, and Batman v Superman. Those are my top 5 most anticipated movies. I kind of wish I could have squeezed Gambit in there in another year if it wasn't so stacked. I am curious about the movie. I'm not sure they will make their October release date because we now know they're going to be filming here in March, and that's a pretty quick turnaround to finish an entire movie and get it into theaters. I am curious about that one, but as I said, it was a stacked year. There's so many of them coming out. Doctor Strange looks like it could be real interesting, but I mean, Marvel doesn't let us down, so I mean, I'm sure that'll be good. Didn't quite make my top 5. Really like to know your guys' top 5, because I've heard of so many different opinions. Some people have Deadpool as their number 1. Maybe Civil War is your number 1. Let me know. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts, maybe why you have it where it is. Why does that movie stick out to you more than others? But there's my top 5. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at AC Movie Chats for all the latest movie news, reviews. That'll give you all the links to my website, aftercreditmoviechats.wordpress.com. I think we got some pretty exciting things happening here in the next few months. I'm going to try to get a lot more material up here on the YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe, stay tuned, look for more, and thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you here next time.